What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to be rewriting the series finale of The Flash. Now, guys, unfortunately, this is just going to be a series finale rewrite, not a season 9 rewrite, meaning that we are going to be keeping characters like Allegra, Chester, and Cecile in the episode, but don't worry, there's going to be very different things happening with them in this video. So yeah, guys, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, originally, to start off the series finale, we hear Barry say the same thing that he said to start off the very first episode of The Flash. You know, to understand what I'm about to tell you, you have to believe in the impossible. Can you do that? And I absolutely love that starting in this episode as well. But then you have Allegra cutting in right away after that, which definitely should be changed. I think we should get the exact same monologue from Barry. And, you know, eventually, I think it would be really cool if he said, "I am the Flash." We could cut out that entire first scene with the lame side characters and just have us see Barry running to start off the episode. I think that would be a way better start compared to what we got in the actual series finale. Now, the next scene we see is of, you know, Zoom, Godspeed, Reverse Flash, Savitar, all of them appearing in the negative Speed Force before Eddie Thawne. I actually don't really have very many problems with that scene. I mean, some of the writing is a little bit cringe, so we could change it up to make, you know, each character seem a little bit more threatening, a little bit more of, you know, an actual Flash villain compared to a cartoon villain. So yeah, I think if you just change up some of that, I think that scene's really good. But yeah, of course, if it were possible, I would for sure have Grant Gustin play Savitar instead of just, you know, see Savitar's big suit. I think that would be a lot better. But I know it wasn't really their fault. I think Grant got COVID when he was supposed to do that, because he was supposed to do that. So yeah, that's not really their fault. But of course, in this rewrite, Grant Gustin would be playing Savitar as well. And also, another big thing we have to change about this episode is the title. It's just called A New World Part 4 Finale. It's literally just called Finale. We got to change that to, you know, something like A New World Part 4 Fastest Man Alive, or My Name is Barry Allen, or something like that. I think I would go with My Name is Barry Allen. That's a pretty good title right there. Or like Believe in the Impossible, or, you know, something like that. I think that would be a way better title compared to Finale. So anyways, then we see Eddie, you know, in the original episode, we see Eddie show up to the hospital to visit Iris. And like I said, I don't have too much of a problem with this scene either. It's just Eddie doesn't really feel like his season 1 self, right? So maybe, you know, just write him more like season 1. But yeah, nonetheless, I still do think this is a pretty decent scene. You know, Eddie sort of revealing himself to Iris, I thought was pretty cool. And then Iris telling Barry, "Run, Barry, run." You know, when, you know, Iris figures out that Eddie's a negative Speed Force avatar. I thought that was a really good scene right there as well. We see, you know, a fight scene between the Flash and Eddie, which, you know, I actually don't exactly hate, even though Eddie looks stupid running. Also, by the way, I forgot to say this in the other scene where we see all the villains team up with Eddie Thawne. Eddie's lightning is red, which is stupid. I mean, yeah, blah blah blah, it's a negative Speed Force, makes lightning red, whatever, who cares? Just let's say the blue crystal turned it blue, because it would have looked so much better if it was blue, because, you know, it looks so dumb just being red. Everything about Cobalt Blue is blue except his lightning, which is the opposite of blue, being red. So that is a huge change I would make, is make Eddie Thawne's lightning blue. But yeah, like I said, the fight scene itself between the Flash and Cobalt Blue is not too bad. Now, after that, Barry lines up against Eddie Thawne, which eventually leads to the rest of Team Flash lining up against Eddie Thawne. Now, in a perfect world, this would be, instead of these stupid side characters, it would probably be Barry, Nora, Bart, Jay Garrick, Wally West, you know, some of those other speedsters, right? Instead, it's these lame side characters. But yeah, obviously, like I said, you know, these other speedsters, it's very unlikely that they would have actually all return. Like Bart and Wally, their actors would not have been able to return. And, you know, Jay Garrick did appear later in the episode. I think he definitely could have been in this final fight. I think that would have been cool to see. So yeah, what we're going to do with this final lineup is we're still going to keep the side characters. Unfortunately, we're still going to keep the side characters here in this final lineup. But we're also, of course, like I said, we're going to add Jay Garrick, because, you know, he was in the episode and he could have been in this fight scene. So I think that would have made it maybe just a little bit better. Then following that, we see all the villains come out of portals, and, you know, you have all the the speedster villains lined up against this mediocre Team Flash. There's a lot of things I would change about this. First of all, zoom. You got to have the blue lightning like just crackling around him like they used to do in season 2. It looks way better than what they did in season 9. I don't know why they just took that off. Also, they have to bring back the vibration and the red eyes of Reverse Flash, so he's way more threatening. That would be so much cooler. They have to change Savitar's red to blue because that just looks way better. I don't like the red lightning aspect that they put onto this because, you know, all the villains have been revived by the negative Speed Force. I think that's just stupid. And also something they're calling them the Legion of Zoom. I don't know exactly if I would keep that or not. I mean, yeah, it's a really cool comic book name, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Only one of the characters is Zoom, and he's not even the leader of the group. So I don't know how that the Legion of Zoom really makes sense unless they can find some other ulterior way to say that. But I do like the name Legion of Zoom. So, I mean, while it might not make a lot of sense, it's the finale. Who really cares? You might as well keep the name Legion of Zoom. Now, to start off this fight, guys, I would be all right with it, you know, just being the side characters versus the speedsters, like I said, just to start with. But one thing I would like to see is that scene when Savitar was, like, holding Nora, just like when he was holding Iris back in Season 3. We see Barry approach them, right? Barry's standing there just like, you know, back in Season 3. He's having a flashback to that moment right there. You know, Savitar's about to kill Nora, just like he almost killed Iris back in Season 3. But this time, we could see Barry's fast enough to save Nora, which would be really cool to see. You know, just showing how fast Barry's gotten since that point in Season 3, I think would have been a really cool scene. But yeah, here Barry would be taking on Cobalt Blue, and, you know, we'd still have that fight scene there. Yeah, meanwhile, we'd also have Zoom taking on Keone and Mark, which is I'm gonna change that scene a whole lot, but we'd still have Cecile and Godspeed, again, gonna change that scene a whole lot. And then, yeah, we'd have Reverse Flash going into Star Labs. Now, obviously, in this Godspeed versus Cecile fight, Godspeed in this version would easily defeat Cecile. I mean, Cecile it should not be that powerful. She literally was just once a telepath, or she could like read minds, and now she's apparently Supergirl. So yeah, this is just stupid. I think, you know, what should have happened is we should have had Godspeed uses his comic book, you know, cloning ability, and there's just multiple Godspeeds all just running at Cecile. Cecile, I guess she could be doing her best to defend off Godspeed, but it wouldn't work at all, as Godspeed would easily defeat Cecile, maybe not kill her, because, you know, it could be more like, you know, Godspeed just wants to get rid of Cecile so he can focus on fighting the Flash, so maybe he wouldn't kill her, maybe he'd just knock her out, but nonetheless, Godspeed would easily win this fight. Now, I really do like this start of this scene between Reverse Flash and Chester, with Reverse Flash sitting in the wheelchair that he sat in during Season 1 when he was, you know, pretending to be Harrison Wells. I really do like that aspect that they added into it. But then, you know, you have Reverse Flash, you know, saying a couple of cringe stuff. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but still, I think the writing for him could have been, like, you know, he should be a more calm villain, a more calm and patient villain, instead of like a crazy villain. So what I would have here is I would just have Reverse Flash just, like, you know, maybe talk to Chester, like, you know, I built this place, you know, this is my facility, something like that, you know, talking about Star Labs. In this version, Thawne would actually kill Chester, right? Chester would die, like 100%. But it wouldn't be from, you know, lightning that Thawne just emits from his hands. It would be from a vibrating hand that Thawne always used to do. That would be such a cool scene. Imagine, you know, Thawne with the vibrating face and the red eyes just killing Chester with a vibrating hand. That would have been such a cool scene and a really good throwback to Season 1. And then somehow, like in the original episode, Allegra apparently kills Thawne, which is just ridiculous. That might have made me the most mad out of the entire episode, is that Barry and Thawne had a rivalry for like almost 10 years, and then Allegra just kills him with a snap of a finger, which is ridiculous. So yeah, what we could see with Thawne and Allegra in Star Labs is we could see Thawne, you know, like knock Allegra out or knock her down, but then he says to her, like, you know, he's gonna turn on the villains because he wants to just kill the Flash. That's his only goal. He wants to destroy the Flash. So yeah, I think that would be really cool. And then maybe he speeds off. Maybe he would kill Allegra. I don't know if that would exactly work, just killing someone right after he just killed someone else. But yeah, I think you know, Thawne saying that he's gonna kill the Flash to Allegra and then speeding off, I think would be pretty cool. But then next we see Zoom, go into the tunnel with all those police officers, and this scene I would change a lot. First of all, we had Keone and Mark taking on Zoom, and Mark originally just stood there and didn't do anything. Now, what I would have happen here is Zoom look at Keone and just be like, "Wait, is that Caitlyn? What is she doing here?" Like he would actually acknowledge that Keone is basically Caitlyn, and he would just question that. But anyway, Zoom would throw like a lightning bolt at Keone, just like he did. Now I would still have Keone catch it, but then I would have Zoom catch it again. So they're basically just playing catch with a lightning bolt. But then Zoom, knowing that Keone would be able to catch it again, he would just throw it at Mark and just like maybe kill him. I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool if he killed Mark with throwing a lightning bolt at him. But then he would probably take care of Keone by maybe knocking her out, maybe not killing her because she looks like Caitlyn. Zoom might still have some affection for Caitlyn, so I think that could make sense there. But then Zoom would do what he did in season 2. He would kill all those police officers, and just show how threatening he is. Of course, at this time, he would have the blue lightning instead of the red lightning. But yeah, maybe after he kills all those officers, he would talk to Captain Singh, again. I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I think that Zoom scene, if they did it that way instead, would be a lot better. And also, I think they would have Zoom say, "You can't lock up the darkness again," before he kills all those cops. But it would be in a not cringe way. It would actually sound really good, just like it sounded in season 2. It was really good. And then obviously with Chester dying, we would not have rather that big kissing scene with Chester and Allegra, which is just terrible to watch. So yeah, that would thankfully be deleted out of the episode. Hey guys, now I'm going to go back to the Savitar stuff that I said earlier in the video, where I said, Barry would be fast enough to actually save Nora from Savitar. After that, though, I would have Savitar, just speed away, right? He's a speedster. He can use his powers. He can realize that he might not win that battle, so he's just going to speed away. But then now, in this episode, we would have, still have Barry versus Cobalt Blue. That fight would have been going on at the same time as the side characters were getting defeated by the villains. And then we would have a big lineup after that of, all the villains, Barry realizing that all the side characters got defeated. But then we would still have Jay Garrick, Barry, and Nora West Allen going up against the speedster villains, which I think would be pretty cool. Now, we would have a little fight here, not a huge thing, but nonetheless, this would just be to get, Jay Garrick and XS just defeated, maybe knocked out. And this is where Barry would show how powerful he really is by taking on all 5 of these speedster villains by himself, and of course defeating them in what would hopefully be an epic battle, and an epic final battle for the Flash. I think that would have been so cool to see. Barry defeating Zoom, defeating Reverse Flash, and actually having conflicts with all of them. Talking to them. Obviously in a not in a nice way, but like Zoom talking about killing his father, Reverse Flash talking about killing his mother, Savitar talking about almost killing Iris, all that stuff. I think that would have been really cool to see. And then, yeah, after Barry defeats the speedster villains, we would have Cobalt Blue get up and get into the negative speed force to try and charge himself even more. But, that's when the whole, negative speed force alliance stuff would happen. And I really like the scene where, Eddie's beating up Barry, but it's like flashbacking to Reverse Flash when Reverse Flash did that to Barry in season 1 when Eddie killed himself just to stop the Reverse Flash. It really showed that Eddie was, becoming the exact person he killed himself to stop. So I really did like that part of the episode. So, of course, we would keep that in there. But yeah, then Barry would arrive at the hospital, and I really liked the scene where Iris gives birth. I thought that was a really, really good scene. So yeah, obviously I wouldn't change anything about that. We would also see Timeless Wells return. He's a great character. Of course, we would see him tell Keone to get the hell out of Caitlyn's body, which, I did like because Keone is a stupid character and never should have been on the show. But unfortunately, this is just a series finale rewrite. It's not a season 9 rewrite. So yeah, nonetheless, Keone would still not exist at the end of the episode. So yeah, Caitlyn would return, obviously, and then we would have a big party at the loft with with Barry and Iris, celebrating Nora being born, of course. And instead of the ending with, Joe proposing to Cecile, instead we would have a different surprise, one that is way better, and that, of course, is Cisco Ramon returning. I think that would be probably the best way to have the second to last, scene of the Flash end with, Cisco returning and reuniting with Barry, Iris, Caitlyn, Joe, Joe, and maybe even Timeless Wells. We could get a little reunion with all the main cast. I think that would have been a lot better to see compared to Cecile getting proposed to by Joe. Now, for the most part, I really do like the ending scene with Barry, talking to his baby, Nora, and then, saying the monologue to her, which I think actually did work pretty well. I would just change a couple of things. I don't exactly hate the idea of Barry giving powers to those three speedsters, Jess Chambers, Avery Ho, and Max Mercury. I don't hate that at all. I think that's actually pretty good, so I would probably keep that in. It's just what Barry says at the end. He says, something along the lines of believing in the impossible, which, like I said, is not too bad, but I think if he said, "My name is Barry Allen and I'm the fastest man alive," I think that would be way better, and I think that would have been a much more fitting way to end the episode and to end the show. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as, what would you guys change about the series finale? How would you write it? Just comment that down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.